I'm not.
Hello, everybody. And why'd you stop dancing for, Rob? I'm about to kick over the scene one of these
I
times when the
I did my
song's going
Numa
on.
Numa song.
I want to kick it over so people can see you dancing. but um, this Xbox Life episode 385, Born to Battle. All three of the hosts are here this week. I'm Brun BJ Swick 33. And below me on the stream is Mark Wingman 709.
Hey, what's up?
And
You did
below
what?
him, half cut off. I'm sorry, Rob, that you're in the third position. But
Oh, do I have the thing on my
yeah,
right over here?
yeah. So Rob, also known as Presar.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello.
But how is everybody?
Super fantastico.
Super fancy,
Marvelous.
marvelous. It's nice weather where Wing is at. It's storming like crazy where Rob is at, and it's lightning.
Yes.
I see lightning out my window where I'm at. So hopefully everything stays running um, while we're doing this. So, but
Well,
all right.
hopefully it stays running more for you.
Yes, yeah, seeing that I'm doing the hosting today, so but
Although the recording might get junked up if I drop. I don't know.
yeah, maybe. But
We'll see.
yep, 385. Man, we are 15 away from 400. That's crazy. But every week we stream live on Twitch Sundays at 10, between 10 and 10:15. We start at 10:15 today, um, Eastern time, and then we get the MP3 up as quickly as possible. Last week it was what, 30 minutes after the show ended, you had it up. And I got a
Yeah,
compliment at
something like
work
that.
about that. One of the guys
Oh,
that I
wow.
works with, he listens. He's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "I'm listening to you guys right now." He's like, "He really got that show up quick this week."
And you
So,
took all the credit for it, I'm sure.
yes, I did. I said, "Yep, that's the reason why this week was because of me." Um,
I cracked the whip.
yeah. So, but yeah. All right. Well, we have things to talk about. We are doing a giveaway. Everybody always asks what's Revlo about. You'll see in the Twitch stream. You have to be present in our Twitch stream today. That for your points, you can buy tickets, 4 tickets, and when you buy them, you're in for the running for an early access code to Overwatch. So I got a code, and then can give one to a friend. So put in for your tickets. We'll be closing. I say probably around topics time. I'll shut it off. Hopefully, we got some people that's put some things in there, and we'll draw, and then whoever wins, I'll send it to you via Xbox Live. So I'll just need your gamer tag. But you'll see through the chat there that Revlo will have a link, and you can type exclamation point ticket space and then whatever number up to 4. They're 25 points per ticket. So, but that's how we're going to do that this week. But Rob,
Yes, sir.
you're going first this week.
All right.
What have you been playing?
Sounds good. All right. I thought I'd mention first off that I picked up the King's Quest game because it was free, I think, for the first episode only. So I saw that up on the dashboard and I queued it up because I like free. And I was actually really surprised by this game. Have you guys played this at all? Have you tried it? Just
Wait,
curious.
which one?
King's Quest.
Oh, no, that isn't that like that old school
Yeah.
PC game from way back in the day?
Yeah. Sierra Online.
Yeah, I was, I saw that and I'm like, man, I want to do that, but then I realized it's like episodic content and said, no way, I'm not doing that.
It's actually worth it, even if you just get the first one. Because if you played, they're like, okay, so Wing, have you played any of these? Like the old King's Quest games?
Oh, goodness gracious, long time ago.
Yeah. So those, and then Braun, have you played, by the way?
I don't.
No?
I don't recall ever playing any of the
Might be before your time.
maybe.
Maybe.
So
Anyway, so that whole series was an old school PC game where it was kind of like point and click, and you had your little guy that would walk around, and you'd have to do like really basic puzzles. Like somebody would ask for, let's say, I don't know, like some kind of flower. So you had to go through and find the flower, bring it back to them, and then, they might cast a spell for you or something like that. And this new game stays true to that to some degree with much improved graphics, because the old one was, I think, sprite based or whatever it was back then. Really rudimentary graphics. But what's really cool about it is that it's a combination of that style game plus, if you guys remember Dragon's Lair.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Had to get my little guy in here. But it's a combination of like Dragon's Lair and King's Quest with really cool graphics. And I loved Dragon's Lair back in the day. That was that cartoon Don Bluth game.
Yeah.
And it's just done so well. It's done in a storytelling fashion where the character is himself as an, elderly man, basically, and he's telling his granddaughter a story. And it's got a little bit of humor. It's just so well done. I remember when this thing came out, I was looking at him like, oh, great, another King's Quest game, another episodic game. And I never even gave it a second thought. But trying it now, I'm really tempted to continue with the series. It was such a surprise. I definitely give it a thumbs up. And if anything, just try the free one. I don't know how long it's going to be free, but definitely give it a try. Other than that, I did try DC Un. Notice I didn't say the whole name
Yeah.
because it got whacked after I created my character and spent a bunch of time. Like, I didn't know what to do with the game initially. I was like, I don't know if I want to even bother with this. I've just got so much other stuff that's basically unplayed. And then I'm like, well, it's free to play. Let me try it because I've heard good things about it. So I went through the character creation, which I hate. I despise character creation. I just almost want to say, like, give me some random character and I'll just do that. But I went through the character creation and I tinkered with that a little bit. And then I tried to get into the game and I got queued up. And for me, it turns out it wasn't as bad as a lot of people. It was only like a 2,200 person queue, and it was only like a 15-minute wait. And I punted at this, and I've since heard like other people on this call had like several times longer of a wait.
Oh, I queued
3
up
hours.
I queued up this morning. I'm still waiting.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, this should be. It shouldn't be called a free to play game. It should be called a free to create a character,
And wait.
and
Yeah.
then you can pay to play, because it's ridiculous. I posted a screenshot of this.
Mhm.
I sent it off to both of you guys as
Yeah.
well as their
Yeah.
people, and my wait time was 3 hours.
Wow.
And they're like, well, if you want to spend money, you can get in like 3 minutes.
Become a member.
Or you can become or that was a premium. Like if you spend like 500 credits or something. So I don't know what that translates to. And then like if you were a member, which I don't know. I'm making an assumption here, but I'm assuming a member is paying monthly. Then it was like only a 2-minute wait to get on.
Right.
And I'm like, no, delete. I'm like, but I was ticked off because excuse me, I was ticked off because I'm like, I spent probably a half an hour
Yep.
creating a superhero. And even that process was annoying because I was like, I'm going through and I'm like looking at everything that there. I mean, everything. There was a ton of options to do your character,
Oh
and
yeah.
I spent a ton of time because I'm thinking, I didn't want to just do something real quick because if I like the game, then I'm gonna want to build on this character. So I'm
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like, this is kind of cool. You can kind of make your own superhero, kind of what you want, and uh, and then to a point. So they have all these different things like your powers, but a lot of them require you to spend money to make that your power for your character. And there was nothing that differentiated on the menu which ones were free and which ones weren't. So like the first one I went to, it required me to spend money. I was like, I'm not spending money on a free to play game, and I'm not even in a game yet. And they're already asking me for money. So I went to another one, same thing. I finally went back up to the top of the list and found something that didn't require money, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, I spent about a half hour just doing that, and then it's like, okay, you can play in 3 hours. I'm like, am I looking at it? And I even sat there like, well, maybe the timer's just, maybe that can't be right.
Maybe it's a
And I
You
just
know, I
sit
hit
there
this
and I watched
Windows.
the little. I was like 9,700th person in line, and I could almost count, you know, 9701, 9700, 96, 99. I mean, that's how slow it was ticking down. And I'm like,
You know
you've
what?
got to be kidding me. And then it's like, but
You know what that ticking down was? It was people bailing out of waiting. It wasn't them getting into the
no,
game.
I don't believe that. Because if you paid money, they said you could be on with like in 2 to 3 seconds.
Sure.
You
But the
know,
people that were in the queue, the people that had the 3 hour wait, they're all screw
it's
this.
just that's purposely put there. I think my personal opinion, because if I spend $5, I can get on within 3 seconds. That's a bunch of crap. And that just tells me that they're just putting a gate in there. They're like, oh, you can wait 3 hours or pay us some money. I'm like, no way. If you won't even let someone into your game without paying, and then you're trying to get them to pay money in the character creation before they've even gotten to the game, that just tells me this game's gonna be nothing but just pay, 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 pay. They're just gonna hammer you to death on it. I'm like, Neverwinter Nights was free to play, and I liked Neverwinter Nights because it didn't do that. And I ended up spending some money because they didn't hammer you all the time. I felt like I could play the
Sure.
game and I could advance my character and I could get stuff. There's other things I could do if I wanted to. And some things I spent some money on, and I decided not to put a ton of time in it. It's just not my real style of game. But when they're hitting you up before you even get in the game, I'm like, that's ridiculous. And then a 3 hour wait time for a console game, I'm like, this is I can't even imagine PC players doing that.
And you can't just wait in the background and go do something else.
Yeah, what am I going to
The
do for three
console's
hours?
locked up. Yeah, it's locked up
And
while it's
well,
in the
you can
queue.
watch TV.
No, yeah.
You can watch TV while that essentially runs in the background. But is
You
it
also
going to
go
pop
outside.
up a message saying you're finally logged in? No, because the game's running. I mean, it was ridiculous. I was like, this has got to be some kind of joke. It doesn't make any sense. It's just, yeah, really, really bad, Warner Brothers. That was really, really. There's things I want to say, and I'm not.
Family
I'm
show,
holding
family
my
show.
tongue, man.
Family show, family show.
I know. This is a tough one. This is really tough right now. I'm biting my tongue. So it's a crock of crap. Let me put it that way. Don't bother with this game. So.
Okay, so I know that this thing's been out forever on other consoles, at least PlayStation, I think, if not PC.
PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, is it the same process on those systems, or is this gate put in specifically for Xboxes to, let's say, prevent flooding their rickety servers?
I think it's the same across. When I played on PC, I think it was the same way. But I don't recall because really I only played the game for like 10 minutes when I did it on PC and didn't like it. And then I did it today too and got in. I think my wait was like 20 minutes. And I got out of it, didn't like it. So it's just clunky. It's clunky, and the controls are horrible. I mean,
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I played a hero MMO before, City of Heroes, and that game was awesome. And this thing here just feels like a jumbled piece of poo. But you know,
Really?
I don't blame, like, the developers or anything like that. I know they worked hard on it, but there's just something about it that kind of feels weird, I should say. So
Yeah, they
I
they
know a
had
lot of
one of
people
the
like it though.
they had one of the folks from the development team on the Major Nelson podcast, and they talked it up pretty good. It seemed interesting. They
It,
didn't really
it,
mention the wait time though.
it's sad they won't give anybody an opportunity to actually play. 3 hours?
You can, but you really, 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 really want to play.
I'm not. I wouldn't wait for any game for 3 hours.
No.
That's ridiculous. Free to play or not free to play. I've never seen a free to play make you wait 3 hours to log in. That just it's I just don't get. There's no rhyme or reason for that, and they can't say that. Oh well, our servers are flooded when it says right above it that if I pay them, I can be on in 3 seconds.
Right.
That means I could get in right now. They're just holding me off because they
It's
want money.
artificial.
It is. It's an
Yeah.
artificial gate for trying to milk money out of people. Some people are like, I ain't waiting 3 hours. Well, let me pay you $5 and I can get in. And then they're in. It's no way. I'm not. I can't even say. Just forget these people, man. I'm not. I'm not caving. If we start caving to crap like this, it's going to be in every game. So
Yeah.
don't do it, guys. Just don't.
Yeah.
Before you know, every freaking free to play game is going to do that. Free to play, but it ain't free to play because you got to pay them to play. Stupid. So it might have been a fun game. It might be fun. I might have liked it. I will never know. Because I got other things to do. I'd rather play something else for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
King's
most people go to sit down to play their game. They may not even have 3 hours to play, let alone
Right. Oh, yeah.
wait. Who's got 3 hours to wait? Oh, okay. Like Brun said, turn it on and try to log in the morning, and maybe by that evening you'll be in.
So if you do leave it up and running, what happens like if your machine does its shutdown after
Or
being
if you
on
get
for
logged
6
in
hours?
and you don't move for 5 minutes, then it kicks you
Yeah.
back out for inactivity.
Yeah.
Probably will too. Anyway, stupid.
Yeah.
I got him. Let's move on.
Yeah, we got to move on before our wing has a heart attack.
So I will continue to call it DC Un because it got unned off of my machine.
DC uninstalled.
All right.
DC Unbelievable. Okay, so DC Universe and King's Quest, I think that was really about it. Just doing some more Clash Royale. And for that game, I will wait hours to open my stupid chests. That's just because I click open and then I sign in 12 hours later when I remember, and hey, it's open. It's a much better system than DC Un. But that's about it for me.
Well, other than DC Universe, not a lot talking about anymore. Mark, what else did you play?
The Division.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was out of town all last week, so I did take my box with me and logged in
Nice.
every day to play my dailies, and that's about all I did. I'm really actually, I was bored in a hotel, and I ended up channel surfing most of the time because I'm bored with the Division. At one point, I was like, "Why am I even getting in to do these dailies? That's kind of pointless." But I did them every day, so
Except for when they screwed him up again this weekend.
yeah. Was it Saturday they didn't?
I logged in Saturday to do my dailies and stuff. I log in, I'm like, the dailies aren't even here again. So I was like, all right, logged out. So, because nobody else.
The daily assignments were there, but the daily missions were not. But they were back up. I think they were gone Friday. I think they were missing Friday, but I think they were back Saturday. Yes, because today's Sunday. So I haven't checked today, but they were there Saturday night, but not Friday night. So when they switched over Friday at 5 p.m., So between Friday 5 p.m. and Saturday 5 p.m. Pacific time, there was no daily mission.
Right.
Hey, question for you about taking your box on your trips. Do you still have that issue logging in to hotels?
I don't. I log into. I use my phone as my hotspot.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't work in the hotels because I've tried pulling up the browser page, and so I did that. Not this trip. The trip before, and I always stay at a Hilton chain, and you got to use a web browser to get connected. And I've tried. It does. It just it's like I'll connect. It'll see the wireless for the hotel. I connect to it, and then I'll launch the Internet Explorer Edge, whatever they're calling it, on the Xbox One now. And it just doesn't bring up the hotel page. Like nothing comes up at all. So you don't even get the default hotel page to log in. So I just use my hotspot, and that works
Okay.
great.
Cool.
So,
All
All
right.
right.
good for
Yep. So for me, this week I did some Division and Battlefield 4 and DC Un. I played some Prison Architect, Star Citizen, and Heroes of the Storm. So
How's that Prison Architect?
I
I've
mean,
seen that. I don't know what to make of it. It just looks funky.
I think I got it on a Steam summer sale or something like that. I think it's like $20 originally, but I think I got it for like $5, which is probably the best price to pay for it. I think it's different. I mean, it's got some bugs in it, so but yeah, it's okay. I'm enjoying Heroes of the Storm because I got my Tracer character in there, and it's pretty fun.
Oh, is that controversial one that we talked about?
Tracer, that character, yeah, the one.
Yeah, that woman
Yeah.
character.
Well, the art's changed now, so it's not controversial. So, but yeah, that's basically what I've been playing.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if I'll play much tomorrow, but Tuesday, it's on Tuesday.
Oh, well, what's so special about Tuesday?
Well, you got a beta and you got another game coming out. So I got the beta on
Is
both.
it a small game that nobody's heard of?
What, Battleborn?
Yeah, that other game.
No, both of them are fun, and I actually will have both of them on both consoles because I won a Battleborn PC code. So,
Oh,
I was happy to do that. So, all right. Well, that is it for that. That's what we've been playing. And now we got patreon.com/thisxboxlife if you'd like to support the show on a month by month basis. Or if you want to drop $1,000 in as a one-time fee and say I'm just covered forever, you can go to twitchalerts.com/
that's a good option.
yes. cafepress.com/ oh wait, not Cafe Press. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. twitchalerts.com/ donate / this Xbox Life. Oh my goodness. Had to go back to the script to read it. It's been a while. So, but yeah. And our Dark Christoph was our last donator. He did that last week or the week before. It was $25. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. As along with our Patreons that we have. You guys are awesome. So, all right. Before we get to topics, just a real quick reminder, Wings putting in there, yes, this is a good test for future giveaways that we're doing. We're using Revlo, and people have been purchasing in. So far, we have 6 entrants, which is 16 tickets. 1 entrant is ineligible.
is he related to a host?
He is a host. Wingman 709
So that's a
has
yes.
put in a ticket.
Heck yeah, baby. Doesn't say that hosts are ineligible.
Well, yeah, that's if I draw this and it says Wingman 709, I would be like, "Are you kidding me?"
I was hoping you wouldn't see that and just for the fun of it, actually pull my name up.
Oh no, the whole thing tells me everything that's going on for it.
So,
So we're you'll see the thing. You just do $ticket. You can purchase 4 tickets. Actually, 1 ticket's free. So if you do 4, you'll at least get 1.
exclamation,
Yeah, exclamation.
not $.
Sorry. And they're 25 points a ticket. Most people have enough for that. So, but if this all works out well, future giveaways on Twitch, for big prizes. If we do another $60 card or whatever, it may be $200 a ticket, something like that. So, but after topics, so after we get done with our main part of our show, I am closing off purchasing tickets, and then we'll draw. So, but that takes us to our roundtable stuff. So we have a couple quick hits, and we have, more information. Mark came, has some input on some stuff that we talked about last week, as well as an update, the official article from Ubisoft about the cheating stuff that we talked about. So we're gonna hit that again, and then I just have a random kind of topic question that may take 5 minutes to answer, but we'll do it anyways because that's the way I felt last week. But all right, first thing I got, new backwards compatibility games. So did you guys see the updated list? I guess there's like 7 more games coming. Now, this list here obviously is kind of going away from big name games or, big games, and are more concentrating on some arcade games. So you got Frogger, Galaga Legions DX, Altered Beast, The Cave. The Cave is really good. I'm excited to actually see that one. Double Dragon Neon, and Ghostbuster Sanctum of Slime. So, those are it said 7, but that looks like 6 to me. So, 6 new titles.
I count 6.
Yep, I do too. So, but for anybody out there, if you have any of those, scroll all the way to the right on your games, and you'll see them there. So, another quick hit is I know we were talking about Hitman. We've talked about it earlier about, is there a model, really a good model to do? Wing and I think are on like the same page. Like, we don't want to pay $60 for a game and get one level and have to wait a really long time. Episode 2 just came out. It does seem like Hitman's been out forever. I don't know if you got that feeling when you read that, Mark, but to me it seems like the game's been out a really long time and they only put out the 2nd episode. So, to me, I think both you and I have made a good decision on not purchasing quite yet. I still want the game, though. I don't know how you feel about wanting to play the game. I really want to play the game, but knowing what I've seen now, it's like I'm going to wait till there's about half of them done.
Well, I've also noticed that I have yet to see anybody on my friends list playing this game. I remember the week that it came out, I was watching. And I usually when a new game comes out, people are playing it. I didn't see anybody playing the new Hitman game, which did surprise me. Not completely, but I figured somebody would. I know people played it, so I know people that are in our live Twitch right now have played it and like it. But it's I didn't see an overwhelming amount of people playing it. So I honestly think that this model's not going to be that good for them. I think people that have invested time to find out about the game are probably doing what we're doing. I'm figuring wait till all of it's out, and then you got a full game to play. And then by then it'll be out. It'll, it might be a year from now, but it'll probably be half price too. So I'll get the whole game for half the price. So
Cubicle Lake is wondering. He says, so I'm not on your friends list, Wing, because he's playing it. He says the game's really. He says it's a good map, and he's really enjoying the game, and he doesn't regret purchasing as he was with like Division. You know what? I kind of have a little bit of buyer's remorse with Division right now.
what?
But I think I have
How many hours do you have in that game?
I'll explain later. I'll explain later. I'll explain later.
I can say I don't have buyer's remorse.
I wouldn't say. Well, actually, that's kind of a bad thing. It's not buyer's remorse. I'll explain later.
Dude, that's like buying a pizza scarfing it down in like 10 minutes because it's so good, and then going, man, I wish I didn't spend that money on that pizza.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
I
enjoy
bet
that.
Brun's got 150 hours in it. He's like,
Yeah.
he's talking about buyer's remorse.
Bad wording. I apologize. I will fix it later.
What?
But I don't disagree with the model of Hitman. Actually, when they first announced it, I was just like, yes, because I felt like what they were going to do is they're making Hitman a platform. I think the way they released the game with just one, they didn't have like 8 or 9. They didn't have 5 or 6 hours worth of gameplay. Not playing over and over and over, but they didn't have 5 or 6 hours for the $60 of, for gameplay up front and then releasing maps month by month by month. Like, I really like the idea of like you constantly getting, and it's just like, Hitman's going to be out for a long time. For the next 3 years, you're just going to get monthly updates. I really like that idea. I think that'd be great for sports games, to be honest. But I think just the way they did it, I don't know if it's almost like they didn't want to delay. They were just like, okay, just release what we got. We got one. We'll just release what we got. So, but yeah, I'm still going to end up getting it. I know I'm still going to end up getting it. And actually, it was on sale this week. It was 10% off.
It's already on sale. I noticed that today, and I'm like, and only one episode's out, so it's like, and they're already discounting the full game. So I'm like, yeah, by the time all the content gets out, this thing will easily be half price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no rush on it. And the other thing, the other thing that I may not end up getting it even at half price is because it's an online styled game where they're doing different things and different contracts and stuff. If this game is not a big hit a year from now, that there may be nothing to do. It's a really weird model, and I personally hope it fails. And I hate to say that because I was looking forward to this game. I really loved the last Hitman game. That was the one where I got into the series. I loved it, and I was hoping for more of the same. It was just fantastic, and then this really turned me off on what they did. And it's too much money to do. You can't get someone $60 up front and then say we'll give you little slices throughout the next year. So I don't want it to be successful because I don't want to see other companies do the same thing. Then we're gonna be paying $60 and we're gonna have to wait for, look at like The Division. Okay, we paid full price. I don't regret it. Love it. The game's awesome. But it was so good that we've burned through everything. I mean, for me personally, there is nothing left to do. I've done everything. Got every collectible, every achievement, every mission's been done multiple times. I've even done Falcon Lost legit now a couple of times. And I'm looking forward to the next new content coming out. But if I loved Hitman that much, I got one mission to play. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe 2 whenever, so the second one is out. But for that first month, I'd have had one thing to do. How many times are I going to replay it? You're not. It's just not. I don't like to replay stuff over. Even now, I'm getting kind of bored of, man, got to do the Madison Field Hospital again. Yeah, it takes me about 3 minutes to run through the whole thing, but it's just like you get tired of doing it. I need new content. And so I would have been really upset had I paid that money up front for one mission and then have to wait. Doesn't matter how good the game is. If the game is that great, I'm going to want more right then and there.
Yeah. So Cubicle is saying there's multiple contracts through, though, and in Paris, like, it's not just, kill one guy. It's like each time you play it, there's a different person possibly to kill. I don't know.
Yeah, but my understanding was that from what I read, there's going to be some random new character every day. So it's still like the same, and Cubicle can correct me, as he's played it. I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of what I've read is that it's still the same mansion. You're still going into that same house but there's going to be like one different character model one day, and there's like a 24-hour bounty. You got 24 hours to get to do this contract, and then that quote person will never reappear as a contract. The next day it's going to be some other randomly generated character that has a bounty on them for 24 hours. It doesn't. It's still the same thing. It's like going to Mars every day or to the moon and trying to grind out helium or something, or I don't remember what's on Mars and Destiny, but or going in the division and grinding out Phoenix credits, and it's like, okay, I can play the Hitman every day and shoot some different looking AI guy, in the same building. It's just I don't see the draw to that.
Yeah.
I really love the last Hitman game, and I wish they would have just kind of given us a story along that line. It was so good.
He says, Paris is the main contract, and then 8 contracts with 5 escalation levels. It's the same mansion. It says then you have 24 bounties. Those are special missions. So I mean, it seems like there's a lot to do for each thing. I still think the part that's the problem, Cubicle and stuff, is that it's not that they're coming out with new content. To me, it's not that they're coming out with new content every month. It's that the initial content was, hey, $60 one, type of thing. When, if they're going to release 24 total, so say they're going to do 2 years of content, it would have been nice to have, maybe 30 total missions. So you would have got 6 with the game. That's $10 a mission, and then you're getting 1 every month after that. But just a thought. It's just we'll have to see how it goes from
Yeah.
But I eventually, like I said, I still eventually want to play it. I love Hitman games. They were really fun. So, but, all right. Forza 6. Big Forza people out there. Forza 6 Apex, I should say. Open beta on Windows 10 is starting on 5.5. I say that in
That's
here.
May 5th for
All you non-English speaking people.
Oh yeah, May 5th. I put that out here because that is an Xbox game. We know we have a lot of people that play Forza, and if you have a PC that can run it, you can hit the open beta. And yes, you might want to check if your PC can run it, because I even think my graphics card is in the minimum area. So I think their preferred their preferred is almost like to have like a 970 or something like that.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's up there. But it's supposed, I mean, it is a simulator, high graphics. I mean, that's just the way Forza is. But you'll find out what a Forza version on a PC game will look like. So
I bet it'll be just insane.
yeah.
For anybody that can run, who has like a high end, can run that on like ultra graphics. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Because it looks amazing on an Xbox. I mean, it looked amazing on the Xbox 360 for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I can't imagine on a high end PC. It's wow.
Now, I'd heard that this wasn't like the full style of Forza game that we're used to from the Xbox. Do you guys know what the limitations of it are, or what's different, or what it's missing?
Not without reading into it, but I haven't looked into it that much. But Mojo actually says Apex runs in 4K if you have the setup for it.
Oh wow.
So there's an answer for you. And their highest end is probably the 4K part, and I think it was like at a 9. Maybe that was the 980 Ti or something like that. But yeah,
PC Magazine says it lacks online multiplayer.
Okay.
and this is just a beta, so this isn't the full release. Now, if they're coming
No,
out,
I'm
if
reading-
they're coming
I'm reading-
out with online multiplayer in the future, that's
No, this is not. This is an article for the game, not the beta.
Okay.
They're saying there's no online. They do suggest an Xbox One controller, but the minimum. Let's see. So I'm not going to read the minimum requirements because those never really work. That's the game looking like crap. So recommended for 1080p at 60 frames a second is a 64-bit version of Windows with an Intel Core i7 3820 at 3.6 gigahertz the NVIDIA GeForce 970 or the AMD Radeon R9 290X. 30 gig of hard drive space, 12 gig of RAM. Gee, I don't even have 12 gig of RAM. 4
What?
gig of virtual RAM, DirectX 12. And then if you want to ideal to run at 4K at 60 frames a second, the difference is an Intel Core i7 6700K at 4 gigahertz,
Mm-hmm.
NVIDIA GeForce GTX 980 Ti or
Yeah.
an AMD Radeon Fury X. The hard drive should be an SSD with 30 gig. Your RAM is 16 gigabytes of RAM plus 6 of I said virtual RAM, didn't I? Of video RAM. So you need another 6 gig of video RAM. And then DX12. Woo!
See, I'm only lacking basically on that. I'm only lacking on the graphics card.
On that last one?
On any of them, I have 16 gigs of RAM and SSD and all that stuff.
You got another 6 gig of video RAM? Oh, the video card's your problem?
Yeah, video card's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess my processor too. I don't actually run. I don't run Intel, so
Slacker.
I run AMD.
Sorry.
Although, if I could afford, I would have a 64.
So you're a
6400.
poser?
No, nope. It's called buy what I can afford. So, but yeah. So look out for that. May 5th. So another.
There's a video that they had. It's about 1.5 minutes that they posted a while back, and it showed actual gameplay as they were talking about it. It looks amazing. I mean, it looks really, really good.
I think it's funny. Gunny says, "I don't understand that language. I will stick with my Xbox." I'm with you, brother.
I think it's more for enthusiasts. So
You know,
I think they're going to be throwing things into it that just can't be thrown into the Xbox version. So
yeah. I can translate into console talk. Money, 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 money. That's what it means.
Ching, 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 ching.
About 18 Xboxes, maybe.
Yeah.
All paired together,
Yeah.
sharing resources. You might be able to run.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, I put something in here and then I started seeing things. So I don't know like how true it is or whatever, but it's the whole Call of Duty thing. Like, so Infinity Ward's releasing the next Call of Duty, which we may actually hear about tomorrow, believe it or not. The whole rumor is it's going to be like in space or something. But then the rumor was that it was going to have a COD4 remake with it. And then I also saw where they're going to do a COD4 remake, and sell it for $30. And a lot of people are just like, "Are you kidding me?" It's a money grab, people. It's just look at the publisher and you'll know that if you should spend money on it or not. But to me, when I saw that, I was just like, ugh, all right, whatever. And I just threw up a big, who cares? So, but do
It's a
you
good
guys
game.
care?
But I would not care to replay it again.
Hey,
Nostalgia-
I didn't say the game
not
wasn't
that-
good. I loved it. I
Right, but-
played the crap out of that game.
Oh, loved it. It was
Oh.
amazing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
come on, I want to move on.
Right.
Nostalgia has its place, but to me, a game that Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare has not reached the nostalgia stage yet.
Right.
I just don't think it warrants a remaster. But
Right.
whatever. I'm bored with Call of Duty anyways. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think a lot of people are. I mean, it still sells awesome, but it's going down. I mean, after 13 years or 13 releases or whatever it is, I think people are starting to come to their senses a little bit.
Yeah.
But talking about a good military shooter, let's move to
Oh,
Battlefield.
so you're skipping the next story then, right?
What, the Battlefield? No, I'm not skipping it. I'm just talking about
You said
Battlefield.
you wanted to talk about a good military shooter.
Yeah, Battlefield. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's going to be
You do run AMD, so I guess it does make sense.
All right. Let me turn his
Right,
camera.
Rob?
Where's
Yeah,
his mute
yeah.
button? So no, yeah, on in about 4 days, there's a countdown timer on Battlefield.com. You're gonna probably find out about Battlefield 5. I'm very excited. The things that you saw about Battlefield 5, the Eastern Front, and it being a World War II shooter, that is a lie. It is fake. Do not pay attention to that. Now, could it be a World War II shooter? Well, maybe, but we'll find out in about 4 days. But the whole thing about the posters for Battlefield 5 or whatever, a person finally came out and said, yeah, I made those. They're fake. So, but yeah. So, find out about the next Battlefield 5. I'm very excited. So,
Are you sure it's going to be Battlefield 5 or because the 4th of May is, May the 4th be with you.
Mhm.
That's Star Wars Day. So is this thing on the 4th or are they going to talk about something on the 5th?
I believe this is the 5th.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's like
'Cause if
four.
May
It's like
1st,
4
they're gonna
days.
talk Battlefront. Or
Yeah, it's 4 days and something hours long.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right, and
Oh, so that's throwing it to me now, right?
yeah, you're up.
Yeah. So you guys, I guess you talked about. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the only thing you paid attention to was my screw up. So
Yeah. Well, once you messed up, I was like, I'm just tuning these guys out, man. No. I was there. I think I was actually doing my dailies during the show, if I recall. I think I was sitting there playing the Division while I was listening. So, but I wanted to mention about do we really need the Xbox 1.5 after after only 2 years? So E3's coming up, and we've heard that there's going to be hardware announced. I mean, Paul Thurrott even said the other day, there is going to be a hardware announcement. I think Microsoft needs to do it because we know Sony, and I don't even think Sony needs to do it either, but we know Sony's bringing out the Neo. It's going to be, more for VR, additional power that they're going to need for the VR. But I think what they're doing with that, and I've listened to other people talk about it, some experts, I should say, on other shows, they think it's a bad move by Sony. The way they're handling it, that it's going to really tick a lot of people off who spent all this money on this box, only to have it basically almost not be any good or not be as good as the new one now it's coming out. You got to think about these boxes have only been out for 2.5 years. So by time they would release, we'd hit the 3-year mark on these two consoles. I mean, part of me would like to see another Xbox One, but what I want is something because I think with the whole refresh and the Windows 10 thing, it's really bogged. My box is like a piece of junk now. It's like it runs horribly. I'm always having problems. It's slow. It's just like a slow. I feel like I'm booting up the 360 again. It's that bad, and it's like my gosh, it's only 2 years in, and this thing is that slow. So I would like to see some faster RAM, some faster whatever. Put some new components into it to speed this freaking thing up to run the bloatware of an OS that they've put on this thing. They did the same thing to the 360. Man, if you guys remember back when this thing first shipped with the blades, man, it was like whoosh, 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 it was super fast. The original Xbox was fast. This one, the Xbox One, was pretty quick too when it came out. I mean, comparison to 360, it was lightning speed. And nowadays, it's just like, my gosh, this thing is just it sucks. It really annoys me. But on the other side, I kind of think, do we really need? It's only been 2 years, and they're already talking about putting new hardware out. So maybe it comes out at the 3-year mark, but to me, that seems real early. But if Sony's going to do it and do this VR, I'm hoping that the next Xbox, I hope they come out with some new hardware that will allow you to run Oculus because they're not losing. It depends on how you look at it. They're losing the sales war, if you will, against Sony. but they've been selling the Xbox One has been selling very well. So the box is a success in its own right. But when you got to compare it, you got to compare it to your competition. You're getting smoked. Now, if the competition's coming out and they're going to have VR, and we've heard basically nothing, like Microsoft has not said that they're going to do it. We know they got a partnership with Oculus. We know that the controller and Xbox One controller ships with the Oculus headset. And I don't believe from the specs that you would require to run Oculus on a regular PC, there's no way an Xbox One can run that. So they would have to put out a new Xbox One. So I think it's good if they can do that and then attach to the Oculus because then they don't have to do the VR. Then any kind of VR stuff that comes out for Windows games in the Oculus system, being that this is Windows 10 essentially, should be able to easily run on an Xbox console. The problem there, and I'm concerned with, is I want them to do it to be able to compete with Sony. I don't want them to get lost so far behind that they just we lose the console altogether. Um, and Microsoft just says we're done. I'd hate to see that happen, but I'm worried about this the other side of segmenting the player base. You've got people that have just gotten their Xbox One this last year, and if they put out a new one here come June, say we got a new one, and it's not just like a slim. I mean, it's actual new hardware, which is what Sony's doing, that can do more and better stuff. Then you're in that kind of boat of, well, now mine's not good enough, and when
Right.
new stuff comes out for it. See, the thing that Sony's into now, they've got what? How many 30 million, 40 million boxes sold or something like that.
Yeah, 40.
It's got 40 million people that have bought this thing, and now 2 years later they're going to come out with another one that's like, yes, it's backwards compatible, it'll play everything, but it's also going to play the new stuff. But your old one, your no good PS4 version 1 is it automatically cuts those 40 million people out to get anything that's can play the newer stuff or the better looking stuff or the VR. And it's like you're gonna tick off your customer base. And that's what I worry about. If they put a new Xbox out, I would probably get it for if it had improved hardware and ran better. But then again, how's that going to cut off me from my friends who aren't going to put the money out, and if they're playing a game on the Xbox One mode and I'm playing on the Xbox 1.5 mode, are we going to be able to play together? And I say that because that's what the PS4 and this quote Neo, it's going to have this quote Neo mode, and then you can still step down to the PS4 mode. But for people that are buying the new one, they're going to want to play it in that better mode. And it's not going to be too long before these game, developers are going to start writing. They're going to, are they going to write to that new version and make improve the games on a very small subset at launch? So then again, or everybody's just going to stay with the older one?
Now that
It's just, man, I think it's too early to put new hardware out there, and I think they're running the risk of that. But
the thing is, the Neo mode, the way I understand it, is you build the game. The game is the game, just as if you were on. Just put it this way: you're building a PS4 game, so it's running on PS4. You're building an Xbox One game; it runs on Xbox One. You are adding assets to the disc for if people want to play in the so-called Neo mode or 1.5 mode. All that is they get a better looking version. So you're talking graphic details and stuff like that. That's the way that their whole statement reads, right? It's fun. And when I say they, I'm talking PlayStation. Now, that's where Rob and I were talking about last week, is because no game is to ever run on Neo only, which means you would be putting stuff into
until
the
they
game.
do.
Well, that's
Yeah.
our joke. That was our thing.
Right.
It's like, yeah, they are not to build anything that could only operate on the Neo because of the increased functionality, performance, and stuff like that until they do. And that's where I came.
Let me take you back a few years. Xbox, when 360 first came out, the achievement system came out. all achievements were to be achievable. That was a requirement.
All right.
There's achievements that to this day haven't been fixed. They're
Right.
glitched. They don't pop. You don't get the credit for it. There's things that the servers have shut down. You can no longer go back and get them. So yeah, a company can say whatever they want until they change their mind.
Well, and
So that's the thing. Until someone's going to do it, you're gonna hit that point where like we don't want to invest, or because that's still code. You're still having to spend money to have essentially two separate game versions of that game, the low res and the high res, if you will. Okay,
right.
still gonna have to write assets, and then you got to write the game, then you got to write another piece to fit in or plug in, or it's completely separate. However, they're doing it. There's additional costs on a developer to do that. They're not going to want to do that for very long, and pretty soon they're going to write the high res stuff only.
Yeah.
And then all those 40 million people are out, and they're going to have to be forced to upgrade.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't want to also happen on our side, you know.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing, is that, you know, we said until they do, because, and that's where I came across the comment of, you know, you should never really kind of trust a company that says anything, but I wouldn't trust anything Sony says as far as I could throw them, and that's not very far at all. You know, that's, you know, I don't trust everything Microsoft says either. I'm gonna make that straight as I can, but I can tell you I believe in Phil Spencer a little bit more, that he wouldn't do something like this. I do not believe at all that Sony would not do something like that. And it's sad to say that. I really do feel that it's a sad thing to say, because, you know, even in the show last week I said I bet you it's by the end of the year they have something that's Neo only. And
another thing too that you guys I know didn't mention last week was, I think the reason Sony's pushing this is because you got to remember they also sell 4K TVs. They also are going to sell the 4K Blu-ray drives and discs, and you know there's so the PlayStation's like the only profitable brand at Sony. Everyone else, every other division is losing money. So if they can take and put the PS4 Neo out, they're hoping to drive up sales of other Sony products. Mm-hmm. But the thing is they're going to find out is they're going to segment their market, and then no one's going to buy an overpriced Sony 4K TV when they can buy a Samsung or Vizio or whatever 4K TV at half the price.
Yeah.
You know, I mean it's just I think that's why they're really pushing this.
Yeah.
You know, and I still think VR is going to be. I think this is going to be one of those things that is a niche. It's going to be like the Wii and the motion controls. It's going to be like the Kinect. I mean, I liked my Kinect because I can say on, off, whatnot, and screenshots, and you know, there's things I do, not a lot. I could get by without it. It's not that big of a deal. And now most of the Xbox consoles don't even come with them anymore. It's like the Kinect has kind of gone away. It really has disappeared.
Yeah.
So I almost expect the 1.5 to not have that device in it. Mm-hmm. If they're going to release a new piece of hardware, I think it's going to be absent the Kinect. But are they going to have VR attached to it? Are they, you know, and we've heard nothing. I think we would have heard if they were doing something. So the only option I see them doing is attaching to, what was the one I said? Oculus.
All right.
But that's the only thing I can see them doing, since they have a partnership with them. But if they don't do that, so let's say this E3 comes and goes, and Microsoft, we've got a slim Xbox One out.
Right.
Okay. We're probably going to get that at the very minimum, a slimmer version. What if there is no VR? What if there's nothing? And Sony's they're gonna run away with it. They got new hardware. They got VR. It's pretty much, I'm anticipating them to win because they win. They've won no matter what. You know, the media is gonna love them up no matter what.
Well,
but
Sony is
Microsoft
one.
Doesn't have an answer. That's it, dude. I think stick the fork in it. They're done.
Well, okay. Time out real quick. Sony has won.
Are you putting me in a corner?
No. Sony has won the sales for this generation. Okay, it's like 2-1. All right. Now that's not saying that Xbox can't come and catch them 5 years down the road or whatever. But you know, as of right now, they've won the sales game. Okay, now let's take a step back. In our games we've been playing, did any of you guys play the game of sales, or did you guys actually play games? Because I didn't play the game of sales. You know, I love to hear people talk about sales numbers. You know, because we know that Xbox, there's going to be another Xbox, or Xbox is not closing its doors and shutting down. Like it's going to be there because Xbox One is selling well. You know, both consoles are selling great compared to last generation. But you know, you go and you look at the rumors on Sony again, like their big game, Horizon or whatever, it's getting delayed to next year as the new rumors. So once again, their, you know, console exclusive is getting delayed, and people are starting to really get aggravated now about that. And they said, when's enough is enough? And it's like, well, they can do whatever they want, guys. I mean, they've sold 40 million.
Yeah.
And I always hear that. It's like, well, they're winning. They don't have to worry about it. Like, what do you mean they don't have to worry about it? It's like, I don't play the 40 million sales game every day. It's like, that's not what I boot up and play.
Right.
But
yeah, but
the
the thing
answer,
is,
as far as an
it is the
answer,
perception though. The news and the media do. There's a lot of people out there that are buying their consoles based on whatever, you know. Oh well, Johnny wants this, and Johnny thinks that this is the best because it has VR. You know, Johnny doesn't realize that there's no games to play. You know, we've heard from people in our community that have PlayStation 4s that say there's nothing to play on the darn thing, and they haven't booted them up in 6 months, and you know, and okay, but again, and that's all fine and dandy, but if it's out there long enough, okay, so we're already behind. I act like we're Microsoft here. So Xbox is already behind 2-1, and if you add VR, and Microsoft does nothing, that gap's gonna get bigger because that's what everybody's the new hotness. Look what happened with the Wii. It was a crap system. And they blew everybody out of the water because, oh, it has motion controls and it had bowling. You know, I mean, whoop-de-friggin' do. The graphics were horrible. And
Yeah,
they
but
sold
you're
like
talking-
gangbusters because it was something new.
but VR,
It
you're
might-
talking about almost $1,000 commitment for VR. I don't have $1,000 to drop on VR, so I'm not going to run to
But
Sony
it
because
doesn't,
they
it
have
doesn't
VR.
matter. The marketing is going to, we've got it, they don't.
No, I know that's what I'm
know,
saying. It's like
It's,
I'm not
going to hurt sales of the Xbox.
Yeah, because people are going to value the option of doing something that they're never going to do.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I don't know. I can't see myself spending $1,000 just to play VR right now.
Yeah, but that's you. You're you're an Xbox gamer. There's a lot of PlayStation gamers out there that are looking forward to the PlayStation VR.
Well, I mean,
There's a lot of people investing in Oculus and plunking the money down.
well, that's okay. So
know.
Oculus is 600, and then the Steam.
but it doesn't matter the cost, Braun. That it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you got to look at it that this console does VR, this console doesn't.
Mhm.
Which one is more appealing to you? The one that's higher tech, the one that has the new stuff. This
one
one
that has
must
the
be
VR.
better. It's newer. It does
Yeah.
more than this cheaper. You can make the Xbox One $100,
Mhm.
but it's still gonna be like, oh well, it must. Because now you're getting into the point, yeah. Oh well, now the price is getting so low, people can buy it. But
What's
then it's
wrong
like,
with it?
wait a minute, why is it so low? This one's the brand new one. That must just be old. It's old. It's cheap. I want this expensive new one that does all this cool stuff, so I can fall down and bust my head on my coffee table in my living room because I'm running away from aliens. You know, I mean,
well, it may do cool stuff. That's the one thing. Like, I don't mind Microsoft sitting back and watching this thing play out.
they can't sit back forever though.
No,
They've got to come out at E3 here with some answer to VR.
oh, I hope not.
Period. They have to.
I,
Otherwise, I think it's the virtual stick a fork in them. They're done. I mean, you can't keep losing this much and stay in the game. It will affect you in other areas. And VR, as much as I have no interest in it, I think there's more people out there that do than don't.
well,
Yeah, money is a point, but it's again, it's that perception. Microsoft has just been burned for 2 years.
Yeah, but I mean,
You
they
know,
can have VR in the next X. Like we're gonna have probably another Xbox console. If they don't have VR this generation, they're not going to close down their doors after Xbox One. You know what I mean? They're going to have another one. Like they've made a ton of money in Xbox One to continue the development. I'm not saying like just throw away VR altogether, but I think trying to shoehorn VR in this generation may not be the best solution. I mean, yes, Sony has it. Yes, VR's new, but like we already hear the things like people's like, well, I'm gonna go buy PlayStation VR because it's $400 because I don't have a killer computer or a killer machine on top of the $600 for Oculus or
right?
the $800 on top of Steam VR. But to me, seeing that I don't own a PlayStation yet, I have to drop $800, well, almost $1,000 because I have to buy a PlayStation and I have to buy PlayStation VR. So it's like no matter what, it's a huge investment for me. I know that's me. Um,
Right.
so,
It,
but
it's not, but again, I still feel because look at the past 2 years. Everybody talks about how much better the PlayStation 4 is over the Xbox One. They are they're about identical. I think the difference is they've got a faster RAM chips than ours, right? That's about it. When you compare the hardware specs
Mhm.
line by line, they're almost identical. Yet they're able to get 1080p and we're only 900p and it's like such a big deal when it's really when you look at the two games side by side, it's negligible. You really can't tell the difference.
you know
Okay?
the
But they're still getting bad press. People still think it's not a good box. It can't do HD, blah blah blah. We know it's a bunch of crap, but they're getting blown out of the water by sales. Now you add VR on top of it, and if Microsoft doesn't do something, I can't foresee this not impacting them in a huge way,
yeah.
regardless of price.
Mhm.
It's just going to look like they're sitting around doing nothing.
Uh,
You know,
yeah,
and
I mean,
that's what I worry about.
yeah.
That's so I hope they come out with something, but I hope it has the ability to tackle into Oculus so that they can say, yeah, we're not going to do it. We're going to let the experts do it.
Right.
Oculus. They did it great. Everybody talks good about Oculus outside of price, but all these systems are expensive. Let them do it. We'll partner with them. Then you can have that option to do that if you want. That's what they have to come out with. At the very minimum, we're capable of tapping into Oculus now because these machines run Windows 10,
Right.
and we're going to put out a new piece of hardware that can handle it. But and I think then at least they're staying on the same playing field.
I mean,
Uh,
and I said a while back that if they should do anything, it should be partnering with Oculus as well because I don't think they should jump into and making their own VR. I think that would be crazy. But if you go and you look at like what's the most played games and stuff on Xbox and PlayStation, I believe PlayStation is Call of Duty and Destiny. Those are like the two biggest games played on there. That's because they don't have Halo and Forza and upcoming Gears of War and
Xbox
Crackdown.
used to have Call of Duty.
Huh?
That
Well,
used to be an Xbox, man, and it's gone.
yeah.
It boom like that in 1 year it disappeared because they didn't get the exclusives and Sony got it new
But
content for on
but
their
good-
machine.
But the
It didn't
game
disappear
sells.
for
The
it.
game sells more on Xbox. It's just the game still sells more on Xbox than it has on the other one. I think that's
I'm
because
gonna
of
look that one.
yeah, you have to look that one. But to me, I was just like, oh, they're cutting it when they know it's going away, in my mind. But yeah, I mean, and I joke around with people at the office. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it would be an awesome thing. Let's just give the fanboys what they want, and just Xbox shut their doors. Just don't make an Xbox, and just let Sony win. Like not win the sales game, but just win. They just win. Everybody's like, we're out of here. Sony, you can have it. And I said, and when the PlayStation 5 comes out for $9.99, everybody's going to be like, and we wish Microsoft was around. So, but Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll have to see what they do. Like to me, it's I
Okay,
don't know.
so
We'll have to see what they do.
Black Ops 3 is what I'm looking at. Total world sales to
Is
date.
that the newest one, Black Ops 3?
Global sales on PS4 is 12.86 million. Global sales on Xbox One 6.86.
Oh, okay.
So PS4 is doubled. The place PS3 and Xbox 360, they're almost identical. 1.65 on the 360 and 1.64 in the PS3, and the PC is at 0.19. So they sold 190,000 copies.
Eh,
So PC is that's fun. That's I guess it's probably because all the pirating. I don't know, but yeah, 12.8 million, almost 13 million copies sold on PS4, and almost 7 million on Xbox One. So it's a huge gap.
good.
So,
They can have it.
but
So,
again, it still goes back into that whole perception thing.
mhm,
But anyways, I think we've run this into the ground.
right.
We've been talking about it way too long, and that's my fault. I apologize.
Oh, no problem.
So, so yeah, I think I want one, but I don't. So
What VR?
I want them to be competitive. That's the thing. So, but I don't want to see it come out and be $1,000 machine that I'm like, oh, I gotta have it, but I can, yeah, the wife says
Oh,
no.
as far as the Xbox, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think more on the development side. It's just like if they want to bring out something that's faster, and that boots up faster and performs better, that's one thing. But I think they need to go to their developers and say, hey, you're still just coding to the lowest common denominator. Like games just have to are at this level. So like your extra processing power is basically just to run your OS and things like that. It doesn't really impact the games. That way you're not splitting out anybody.
Right,
Because
and that's
I do believe that Sony is putting themselves up for a problem. I mean, so
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with them.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Both companies, Microsoft and Sony, they seem to do this. We're number one. We can't do anything wrong,
yeah,
And it was Sony back when they announced the PS3 at $600,
yeah,
and then it was Microsoft when they released the Xbox One, and it looks like Sony's coming around. I mean, they may knock it out of the park, but I don't know. Like I listen to the same podcast you do. Nobody thinks it's a good idea.
yeah.
So, but that's all based off the rumors and everything that is released.
Right.
So,
We'll have
but
to see what happens in the
yeah.
real world.
All right, what you got next?
Okay, so the last one that I had, I wanted to go over this banning article. So this is an update from Ubisoft. This is directly from their site.
Mm-hmm.
This is right from Ubisoft.com. So this is their information. So we talked about. I know you guys talked last week about possible banning on the Division. A lot of people were glitching the Falcon Lost mission to get all the green gear sets and stuff, and improved armor and stuff like that. So there was talks about possibly banning people, and here's the official statement on what Ubisoft's going to do. This came out on April 29th on their website. So I'm actually going to read this because it's not that long, but I think this is it's really good information.
Okay.
And then I want to know what you guys think because I definitely have some thoughts on this. So they say from the very beginning of development, our emphasis has always been on the player experience and how good we want it to be. We have great plans for the future of the division. And for these to succeed, we must make sure to provide a smooth, high quality experience. Unfortunately, the gameplay experience was recently impaired by in game bugs and players violating the rules of the game. In order to bring back a better and healthier environment, we have taken new steps to address the situation. So the first one is cheat engines. Cheating players have been an issue for a number of you in the Dark Zone, and we've heard this feedback loud and clear. We are strengthening our efforts to address this problem as described below. First, we have implemented new cheat detection methods that have allowed us to identify many more players currently using cheat engines in the game. We have already caught more cheaters in the last few days than we had in total during the previous weeks. As a result, we will be handing out the biggest wave of suspensions and bans to date over the course of the next few days. Second, when cheaters are caught, we will now apply a suspension of 14 days on the first offense instead of the previous 3-day initial suspension. Second offense will always be a permanent ban. We anticipate these two changes will noticeably improve your experience. New upgrades on cheat detections are underway. So this is the first part. I'm gonna take a stop here, and let's talk about this first part about cheat engines. I don't think this really applies to the Xbox.
Correct.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a PC specific.
I agree.
So I'm not sure that you can run a cheat engine on. I don't know if you modify your Xbox One. I don't know if I don't even know if they are modded out there. I'd assume someone's modded one, but
Yeah, you get people that do like lag switching and stuff like that, but I don't believe that's like a cheat engine. I believe this is probably targeting more of the PC because PC the cheating is really bad, like really really bad. Like people just popping in and popping out, and yeah, I think it's
So-
targeting PC.
So what do you think of the first offense? You're 14 days banned,
Um,
2 weeks. Do you think that's what do you think of that? I think it's good. I mean, this is someone using a cheat engine. They're specifically cheating to screw over other players. So I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, personally, I say if someone's using this, they've installed it, they know what they're doing. It should just be a permaban right off the bat. But
well, I would say I'm curious because if they just get 14 days and then when they come back they still get all their stuff that's on their character, I think it should be something like your IP or your account gets banned for 14 days and your character gets wiped.
well, that's not what they've said. So
I know.
they said they're going to do a 14-day suspension, and then if you do it again, it's a permaban.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I do like the 14 days though. It's either 14 days or 30. I think 3 is just like laughable.
it's a joke.
Yeah,
You're like,
so
okay, I'll see you. I'll see you after me on my drunken weekend. I'll come back. All right. So the next part, this is where I feel that the consoles have more of a play, and then we'll see what you guys think here. So bug exploits. So what is a bug exploit? An exploit is the active triggering and use of a bug or glitch to bypass established game rules in order to gain a significant advantage or skip progression steps otherwise necessary. Identifying and fixing bugs before releasing new content is one of the most important parts of game development. This is also the best way to guarantee a smooth and enjoyable experience for our players. Learning from the past and your great feedback, we are currently reviewing our development and testing process to further minimize the amount of impact of these bugs going forward. Unfortunately, we cannot simulate the experience that millions of different players will have and how they will play the game. As a result, some bugs make it through testing and may be present when an update is deployed. In the event that a bug makes it into the game, and this bug can be used by players to gain an advantage, we need to be able to react and fix it, but also dissuade players from exploiting this bug until it's fixed. This is why moving forward, we will adopt a stronger stance against players abusing exploits. Our first step is to give you clear and more concrete visibility. Should new bugs be discovered, we will quickly confirm if these are considered exploits. All known exploits will be clearly listed in a public forum thread and across our various communication platforms. We want all players to be informed. This will ensure that those caught after an exploit was confirmed are aware of the consequences and actions that can be taken against them. Second, sanctions will be implemented for players who repeatedly abuse exploits and will vary depending on severity of the abuse, as well as history of the player. Possible sanctions include character rollbacks, account suspensions, and permanent bans. Those who encounter bugs during normal course of play have absolutely nothing to worry about. So the the question I have here, what I find interesting is that for a glitch or a bug in the game, they're going to character rollbacks, account suspensions, and permanent bans. But they don't talk about doing character rollbacks on people running cheat engines, which is you had to go out and install a piece of software. You know, to me, I mean, that's outright cheating. You
Right.
are, you know, taking advantage of a bug in the game code. It's tough. I'm really on the fence on this one because if this game is pretty much for the most part a single player game unless you go into the dark zone. So you don't really impact anybody else's game unless you're in the dark zone. And so I don't really think it's a big deal that people make use of glitches or exploits. However, when you go into the dark zone, then you can pretty much own other people, and then it does an impact. So the drawback to that is I think it's forced some people to use the exploits to try to be able just to survive from those people doing it, and then going out and owning everyone in the DZ. So I think that they're being almost a little too harsh here. Um, but again, I don't know. I don't like people doing exploits. I think if you're not playing the game the way it was intended, then you probably shouldn't play it that way. But if it's there and you can do it without having to go and add a piece of code where you're not installing something that allows you to break the game. You're playing the game on your console as it is. I kind of think that this is not necessarily fair on their part. They need to step up because to me, part of me says, well, we're going to say, well, we're going to tell you about it. And then if you use it, we're just going to punch you or roll back your character. And then they don't necessarily have to fix it. Their answer is, we'll just kick people out because that costs them money every time they want to, they have to fix a bug that's found. So I think it's um, it's a catch-all type of thing for them to just say, we don't have to fix it. We're going to warn you. And we'll just tell you it's out there. And then if we catch you using it, then we're going to roll your character back. Or we're going to ban you. So, I mean, that's how I take it. Well, how do you guys, Rob, what do you think of this?
Well, it's a interesting situation because even though people can, I'll say, profit from these glitches and such, the big risk of this whole thing is that it ruins the spirit of the game, where it's no longer fun to the point of where a company has to be careful with how they respond to this, because they respond too harshly, they'll lose people, they'll lose players. But if they don't respond and the spirit of the game is ruined, people are going to leave anyway. It's to some degree, you should play the game normally because you get to ramp up your skill and your character and all that stuff. It goes up at a certain rate. But if all of a sudden you've got these like mega weapons, it's unbalanced. Your character, heck, you are unbalanced to some degree. And they have to control that to the best that they can. It is a glitch. It's not something that was there intentionally. It got missed. I don't know how, but it did, because they normally test the heck out of these things to keep this kind of stuff from happening. But I could see myself being in a game, if I knew I could easily do something, I would be very tempted to do it. But when as innocent as it might be, if you do it, it's those, I'll say, those jerks that ruin it for everybody. They're the ones that are the problem. And it's tough. I don't think that there's a good answer one way or another as to what the right path is. And they have to do something.
Nope, I lost your audio. Mark, do you hear? Oh, no, it looks like we lost it. uh, you guys can still see me, right? All right. I'm sure you guys can still see me because I'm still streaming. So, all right, let me figure out what's going on here. All right. Solo show, it's just me, yes. uh, all right, let me see if I can get at least Rob back in here, everybody. And of course, when this happens, Skype just completely blows up. So you're gonna hear some noises here. So. And doobie doo doo. Everybody's all dang it, darn it. I think Rob and our audio can still be heard though, so that'll be interesting. We get Rob here. Three demerits. Here comes Rob. There's Rob.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? I don't have you on. We're still live, by the way.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Yeah, and I think your Zencaster or my Zencaster is still working.
It's
So,
still going.
all right. Let's see if he's coming back. Well, while we're checking that, so Big Silver Bullet, he won the drawing. As you can see, I sent him his message via Twitch. I asked him to add me to his friends list. He says I'm already on there. I apologize. Like Wing and like Rob, probably our friends list are they're pretty big. So, I am going to add you back so we can play probably on Tuesday for sure. So, but go put that code in. Let me know that and make sure that it works. I want to make sure that you do have a valid code. It should just start downloading. Rob is not, or Mark is
No
not
video.
coming back. So,
Okay.
no video view.
And I've
so,
got no. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's because the Windows changed names, and now I have to reset it back.
I'll just be the ethereal voice in the background.
Oh no, you're coming. I'll get you here in a second. Everybody, right? You're gonna see Rob pop right, real big. He's real big. Shrink you down there a little bit. Oop. You're back in the camera mode.
All right.
And now it looks all funky because you're wide angled and I'm not. See, this is the fun stuff you get to deal with, folks, when you're doing a live show. And things break. So there we go. You and I, we're like sizes now. So, but I know we're in the middle, so we're gonna have to move past that topic. And I'm gonna tell you what, the last topic we had for the day that I was going to do, was going to be on gaming slumps. Like, I'm kind of in this little bit of a gaming slump, and I'm curious, like, do you guys have gaming slumps? When was the last one you had? And then, like, how do you get over them? Do you just, like, leave games completely? Do you change your games up? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this topic to next week. So so we can obviously we have a little extra stuff to do on our show now. But I'm curious about gaming slumps. Like how do you guys handle them? Do you just go to a single player, just all sorts of stuff? But either send them in on messages or emails to us. Send them in on voicemails. I'd love to hear them. Um, Let me know how you get over them. I'd appreciate it. I think that'd be awesome. So, and with that, then we'll move to community. So cafebreast.com/this Xbox Life to get any community swag if you want to, per se. And then for, like I said, if you want to, so you guys have homework. I'm giving you homework. You guys have to go out and let us know about your gaming slump. So you can do that by sending us a voicemail, thisxboxlife.com. Send voicemails on the right-hand side. You can go to contact on thisxboxlife.com and send us in a message there. Or you can email us directly, contact@thisxboxlife.com. We have a Twitter account. It's twitter.com/thisxboxlife. And our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/thisxboxlife. Maybe we'll put a thing in there as gaming slumps too and let people answer in there, because sometimes, that's the easiest way to do it. Maybe as Mark is watching this, not doing anything now, if he would like to put that in the Facebook group, TXL homework, gaming slumps. So we did get one email from Nightlord 40K, and I'll let Rob read through that. But I do want to ask Nightlord a question. I'm curious on how he submitted his email, if he did it like on mobile or if he did it through site or a certain browser, because we got like 14 copies and submissions of his email. It's nothing you did wrong. Okay, it's nothing you did. Don't apologize.
Sure?
Don't apologize. It's not you unless you hit the submit button 15 times. But
That's one way to get noticed.
Yeah, we were going to answer it. We got your point. You're banned. No, I'm just kidding. No, we got it. The thing is it wasn't anything goofy. Like, we got one sentence, two sentences, a paragraph. Like, we've seen that before, where we got like partial submissions. This was literally the full email, 12 times or something like that. So I'm curious how you submitted it. Just let us know. So you can even submit it through a message if you want to. We'll get 15. So, but yeah, I'm just curious if you could help us out and let us know so we can look on our end to see if we have a bug or if there's a bug in some of the software. So, all right. Have at it, Rob.
All right.
It's all you.
So Nightlord writes in, the show before last, you all discussed Quantum Break. I could tell Wing didn't really enjoy the game. One of his complaints was that they give you powers without telling you how to use them. They actually did show you what the powers did before they were given to you, though through a short cutscene and instructions on how to use them directly after. Then they gave you some enemies to try out your new powers on. I really, really enjoyed the game. Amazon gave me Alan Wake, American Nightmare for pre-ordering the game, and Alan Wake was packed in with Quantum Break as a digital download. After I completed Quantum Break, I played and completed American Nightmare, and I'm now working on Alan Wake on Nightmare mode. Both American Nightmare and Alan Wake look and play great on Xbox One. If any of you have never played Alan Wake, I strongly encourage you to do so. It's one of my personal favorite games. I know American Nightmare is a standalone game, but I think Alan Wake should be played first to understand exactly what is happening in the game. I'm sorry to have sent such a long email, but I had to tell you what I thought about Quantum Break and the Alan Wake games, also to encourage each of you to play Alan Wake if you have not. So, thanks for the email.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, yes. So, but I liked Alan Wake.
Yeah, it's good series.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
No.
So, all right. What do we got coming out this week?
All right, Xbox One, we have Battleborn,
Battleborn.
which is super hot. Oh no, super hot is its own title, but
Yes.
Battleborn is super hot.
Yes.
And Coffin Dodgers. For Xbox 360, we have nothing. Games with gold, I think, are what? So actually, they switched today.
Yep.
Defense Grid 2 is out for Xbox One. Fantastic, fantastic game, along with Defense Grid 1. And then Sunset Overdrive is good for another 2 weeks for Xbox One. And then for Xbox 360, for the first half of the month, we have Grid 2, a nice little racing game there. And of course, as always, now that the Xbox 360 games are backwards compatible, so it is another game you can have for Xbox One if you have one. So Grid 2 is good through the 15th, so you have 2 more weeks. Then lastly, I'd like to say that if you have any purchases that you're going to make on Amazon, make sure to use our affiliate link. You can find that on this xboxlife.com. Click on the big Amazon logo. Do that each and every time. It helps us out by giving us a small little finder's fee for sending you their way. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and make sure to use that link each and every time you make your purchases on Amazon. Because that cookie that they put on your machine only lasts 24 hours or until your next purchase or until it gets overwritten. And again, that doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps out the podcast. And if you're on iTunes, please go ahead and give us a 5-star review. That will push us into the featured category where more and more folks can find out about the show and we can grow the community. So do that if you could.
Real
ahead.
quick, Party Up Live is asking about Battleborn. He said, "What's a similar game?" And I put in there Smite and Paragon.
Yeah.
It's a first-person MOBA. Put it that way, MOBA-like. I mean, it's got different things in there. It's got even like a first-person, shooter type element, gameplay to it as well. It was really fun. I had fun with it, and I wanted to say that because Battleborn and Overwatch beta, open beta, will be Friday Night Live this week. So if you have either or, I'll be on at 9 Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern to play some. I will say that we'll start off with whatever people have the most of. So I know it's an open beta with Overwatch, so more people will probably have that. But I really think if there's 4, 5, 6 people that have Battleborn, maybe we should probably start with that since it's a released game. So, but yeah, that's what I would like to do for FNL if everybody's is up to it. So I'm down to play both of those games. And if people want to play both, what we'll do is we'll play 5 rounds of one, 5 rounds of another, or 10 and 10, depending on how long the rounds go. I know Battleborn rounds can go 20 minutes. Overwatch rounds go a lot quicker. So maybe a 2-to-1 or something like that. We'll figure it out when people based on who's there. So, but that'll be cool for that. You already mentioned Amazon.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that is all, everybody. Thank you for coming. Congrats to Big Silver Bullet. I always think when I think of Silver Bullets, I think of the Ohio State defense. So, yeah, I like that name. But, all right. We'll be back next week at 10 p.m. Eastern. So, anything else, Rob?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm Brun BJ Swick 33.
This is Rob, also known as Presar. Thanks for listening, everybody.